But that documentary makes you think that there's some long, amazing relationship with Mollie. No, it's not. Let me tell you some things real clear to make this real clear here. Mollie tells you in that documentary that she connected with Amy finally on a romantic level. They had been friends for well over a decade. They were childhood friends, okay? But she tells you that it was at graduation that she connected with Amy finally on a romantic level, correct? Amy graduated in December of 1996. In that documentary, they make it seem like it's the January before the cruise that Amy calls Mollie. That's not that's not true. What she's saying is that in January of 1997, 1 month later, that Amy calls Mollie to tell her that she kissed someone else. So we're talking about a relationship that was less than a month, guys. They connected in December of 96 and in January of 97 in a 1 month time frame. That's what Mollie's talking about. But y'all are led to believe by watching this documentary that it was some beautiful, romantic, long-going relationship. No, it wasn't. It was 1 month. So then Mollie, and kudos to Mollie, because I would have done the same damn thing. Once Amy calls her and says, hey, I did kiss someone else and I want to be upfront with you, Mollie cuts Amy off. Mollie does not speak to Amy again for 14 months. From January of 1997 until March of 1998, Amy and Mollie do not speak. Yes, Amy does send letters to Mollie, but Mollie's not responding. So Amy starts moving forward in life. It's in the summer that she gets the dog. It's in the summer that she gets the job at Ruth Chris. It's in December. Well, she was already obviously working with Tom, but it was in December that she starts going after Tom. Amy went after Tom. Tom did not go after Amy. Amy went after Tom. Amy's living with her roommates in a house off of Robius Road. Amy, after she gets with Tom and is going to the Christmas parties and doing all of that, she moves out to get her own apartment. Why? Because she wants to be in a grown-up private relationship. She was living with roommates. She needed to be in a scenario where she could have her own time with Tom now. She's starting her life. She's moving forward. She's getting her own apartment. She's got her dog. She's got her boyfriend. She's got plans. All of that is happening. So yes, she did send, we do believe that she sent that message in a bottle to Mollie. We do. But I'm going to tell you what I think a part of it is. And we can't say. Amy's not here to tell us what she meant with that message in the bottle, is she? That's why we got to find her. But I think Amy also missed her friend, because let's think about it. She was a friend with Mollie for a lot longer than she was actually romantically linked to Mollie. So her saying she missed her and wanted her, she missed her friend. They were childhood friends. So it's not always about some romantic thing that she was just longing for and needed to be with her. Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you right now. You're hearing it first. The letter, the February 4th letter where she's telling everybody about the boyfriend and talking about her life, the letter's written to Mollie. And I'll be dropping that later. So she's literally telling Mollie that she's been in a relationship with this guy for 2 months. She's going back and telling Mollie about what was happening with Kat 5 months before. You know why? Because they weren't talking. That's why she was updating her and letting her know. So there was no relationship going on with Mollie and Amy for this 14 months, and that she was really struggling about, and that's why she would have gone and jumped. No, it's just the way it was edited. Let me tell you, when you go back and watch that message in the bottle portion on that documentary, and Mollie says something about going to Amy's apartment, let me back up real quick and tell you, Mollie didn't even tell the Bradleys about the message in the bottle until Easter of 2023. Why would you not share that? All of this effort and energy into two people. One, that Amy clearly did not have a good relationship with Kat. We're seeing that now, right? We're seeing in Amy's own handwriting where that situation was for Amy. And then we're talking about Mollie extensively in this documentary when they had a 1 month relationship, maybe at best, right? Tom, she dated actually for 4 months before she went missing. Tom, when he got the call that Amy was missing, he drove from Williamsburg and went to the Bradleys' home and stayed at the Bradleys' home, and the Bradleys weren't even there. That's how close he was to the situation. He had access to their home and was allowed to go spend the night there and was there when they got home. The prayer vigil that we had afterwards, was Mollie and Kat there? Nope. But Tom was. Did Mollie and Kat go back and search for Amy at Curacao? No. But Tom did. So all of these things just infuriate us they focused on things that they felt would sensationalize that story. They told you about Kat, who has clearly no relevance in Amy's life. I get the biggest joke out of Kat saying that Amy would come to her in a dream. I'm not God, but I have a hard time believing that if Amy was going to come to anybody in a dream, it certainly wouldn't have been Kat. Right? And then we're focusing on Mollie when it's just a month-long relationship. That's really all it was, guys. It was a month-long. But we don't talk about or use the 4 to 5 hours of interview of the guy she was actually dating, of the guy who had a toothbrush at her apartment, of the guy that goes and stays at the Bradleys' home when she goes missing, of the guy that goes back to Curacao and searches for her. We don't talk to him. We don't show that part of the story. So that's why I get upset. That's why I say things sometimes that maybe as a Christian I shouldn't say. I apologize. Please forgive me. You know who I do know forgives me?
The Lord.
That's right. So I don't need acceptance from anybody on here. And as much as I love you two girls, and I do, and I love everybody that helps us and surrounds us, at the same time, I don't know any of you all, right? You all are using me and Brad to tell this story just as much as we are using you all to help tell the story. We are all just uniting in a common bond right now to try to move this along. But y'all don't know me. When I get off this phone call today, right now, what am I doing? You don't know. You don't have a clue. So you get a side of me that you don't get the whole 100%. You get a part of me. And what I do on here, though, is I tell the truth. And I've never, ever once even today when I put up a post and I said that Mollie told them about the message in the bottle of March of 2023, Iva immediately corrected me and she said, no, it was April. I went immediately back there and put up a comment and I went, my bad. It was April because it was Easter. My bad. I always tell the truth. You might not like the truth, but you'll never catch me in a lie. So I thank you both very much. Thanks for letting me jump on. I was getting a little heated reading I've had to endure some lives this weekend that I chose not to jump on because I just felt like I couldn't get through it without getting upset. And I don't feel like I did a real great job today of getting through this without being upset. But I'm excited about tonight, about this interview. I think it's going to be, I spent 2 hours on the phone with Tom on Friday night. Obviously, Brad did the interview and podcast, with Nate Eaton on Saturday. So it's getting released tonight. Brad said it's a great interview. You're really going to get to hear about Amy and Tom and that relationship and how happy she really was in life. Kat, again, saying that she doesn't know Tom. That's a lie. That's why we get so mad. They all worked together at Ruth Chris. She does know who Tom is. Kat confronted, there's a restaurant literally I could walk to named Caddy's right up here where I live at. Kat, because Ruth Chris is a couple miles from my house, just so you know, where we're at. Tom and Amy were in Caddy's doing karaoke one night. Kat came in there and confronted them. She knows who Tom is. So that's why I get upset when I see her on here lying and creating these false narratives and telling that stuff. That's why I get upset, guys. And again, my last time I'm going to apologize because I'm never going to apologize for it again. I apologize that I don't always say it the way you like it, but I am telling the truth. I will do my best to calm down and say it nicer for y'all in the future, but there's no guarantees. I'm going to tell the story the way I want to tell it. Y'all have a blessed day. I love you very much, and I will talk to you soon.